I am the Mohel, some say Moyle. I'm going to narrate a little bit as we go through so everybody knows what we're up to. The Hebrew language is a magical and holy language. The letters are not just like English letters, which spell out words. They're also numbers, but not like English numbers. They have shapes and they have names. And the names and the shapes of the letters have meanings. And all of these things are woven into the language. So for example, if you have a Hebrew word, you therefore have a total number for that word. In English they have a thing called numerology. Well, we've had this in Hebrew since its origin. For example, you have two words, shem and sefer, name and book. They have the same number if you add up the letters, teaching us that a Hebrew name is the equivalent of the book of life. And so there's all kinds of lessons to be learned out of Hebrew, and it's significant today. And I'll show you that by teaching you a word that you probably don't know. It's a very rare word in the Bible. It only exists 3 times in the book of Ezekiel. And it's in very mystical subjects. But in Israel today, it's one of the most common words there is. The word is chashmal. Chashmal in the Bible is that silent sound out of which the voice of God speaks to the prophet. And chashmal, if you divide the word up in halves, each of the 2 syllables means silent sound. So that's exactly what it is. In Hebrew today, the word chashmal means electricity. Because after all, electricity is all around us, but we don't hear it. So it's a silent sound, and yet it's everywhere. And so too is the source of God's voice, as it were, to the prophet. And so today it's a common word, but if you take that word and you divide it up differently, it's made up of 4 Hebrew letters. The first division teaches you 1 lesson. Chet, the first letter, shemal. Chet is also the number 8. The 8th day, shemal, that he was circumcised. In other words, Isaac, the first, Abraham circumcised himself at 99. The first one done at the 8th day was Isaac. And it was on the 8th day, and that became the precedent for all of Jewish history for almost 4,000 years to do it on the 8th day. There's a meaning to 8, even. 6 represents space. It's got 6 directions, north, east, south, west, up, and down. 7 represents time, the Sabbath day that makes space sacred. So now time and space are finished in 6 and 7. 8 always represents something a little higher, a little deeper, on a spiritual plane that is anchored in the physical. It's kind of like the way they describe Jacob's ladder in the Torah. It is rooted to the earth, mutzav artzav rosho magia hashamayim, but its head reaches the heavens. So there's something happening in the world, but not of the world, when it comes to the 8th, anything with an 8, and in this case, on the 8th day. So there's an energy, a silent electricity of energy, a spiritual electricity at a bris. And everybody admits that because, after all, the baby's going to have surgery, so there's a little bit of a spiritual electricity to that too. You can divide that word one more time to teach you an even more profound lesson. And that is, you take the first 2 letters and the middle 2 letters.